at the David and Aidan Show everywhere.
What's up, guys? My name is David.
And my name is Aidan.
And welcome back to the David and Aidan Show. We once again took a long break, but we are back, and we have a very fun ranking for you. Aidan, what will we be doing today?
Today's going to be very exciting. We're going to be ranking our top 10 favorite directors of all time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Came to David with this idea, and I got really excited right off the bat, because I see a lot of people ranking movies a lot, or ranking movies from a specific kind of franchise or whatever, and I think the people behind the camera, the directors, the more visionary people, don't get as much credit. I mean, of course they get credit, but I feel like especially in the film critic community on YouTube, I feel like it's not talked about as much. So super pumped for this, and we're back. We're doing a video component today as well as the audio component, and hopefully we'll be back at it with some more episodes. We take long breaks, but it's always great to be out here collaborating with some awesome YouTubers. So there we go. We can jump into the nitty gritty here and get going with our rankings. So yeah, let's take it away.
Very cool. Well, I will start off since I have two honorable mentions, Sam Raimi and Quentin Tarantino. So Sam Raimi, I love the Spider-Man trilogy. While they're cheesy, that's part of the charm. It really is. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man movie. So he has that Sam Raimi flair. It's just cheesy, heartwarming, but also good movies. Quentin Tarantino, I've only seen one of his movies, and I watched it like a couple days ago, and that's Inglourious Basterds. Excellent movie. Reason I don't have him higher is because, once again, I've only seen one of his movies.
Right.
Both amazing directors, so I just wanted to add them there.
Awesome. Very cool. I don't have any honorable mentions, but I could go ahead with my number 10 if you're cool with that, David.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So my number 10 is Sam Mendes. He did 1917, and I haven't seen any of his other movies. I know he did Skyfall, and I haven't seen that yet. It's definitely on my list, and I don't know. I mean, he's not. Obviously, he's at the bottom of this top 10 list. I really enjoyed his work on 1917. I thought, a lot of people have said that was cheesy and stuff. I made a whole video about how I thought that he pulled that, kind of one take kind of feel off really well. And I just think it was he's a little bit more adventurous of a director, not as much as some of the people we have on this list, but I think he just he earns a spot on the list. So I call it an honorable mention or just 10th place, but I definitely think he deserves to be on my list. So that's all I really have to say about him. Nothing too crazy there, but yeah, there you
amazing.
Go.
Yes. 1917, it's like you watch a movie and sometimes okay, I can see how they make that CGI. 1917, I mean, how did they make that? It was incredible.
It was good, yeah.
Coming in at number 10 for me is cringe, Zack Snyder. I love Zack Snyder. I love Batman vs Superman. I love Man of Steel. He has this way of taking the DC characters and my way making them gritty, but in a way that still works. I think Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, even though I am a fan of the theatrical cut, it's a great movie. It's a nice, fun political thriller with Batman and Superman. The fight itself is kind of like whatever for me, but everything leading up to the fight and everything after the fight with Doomsday, even though Doomsday looks terribly CGI'd, it's a really well-constructed movie. Same thing with Man of Steel. I made a whole review about that, explaining why I love it so much, and it's very underrated. So he has a way with superhero movies, and I cannot wait for the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, it's Snyder Cut. I've been learning more and more about that. It looks really exciting. As everyone knows, I'm not as into DC as I am Marvel, but it does he seems like a pretty good director, and I think I say this every episode, I need to get more into DC. It has to happen soon. So we should make an entire episode just about my experience with DC once I watch it.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
It's gonna be great. Stay tuned, everyone. But no, very cool. My number 9 is Stanley Kubrick. He did The Shining, 2001: Space Odyssey. Both two big movies. I just saw The Shining for the first time back in October. I was on kind of like a horror movie kick, and it's such a good movie. I was talking a little bit about this in our Discord server, and it's like, The Shining isn't necessarily too scary of a film, at least for me. I like scary stuff, but I can take it or leave it, and it wasn't like scary where you're not enjoying your experience watching it or whatever. It was just it's a good movie from a he kind of pioneered a lot of new techniques. I feel like he had the Steadicam shot with the kid on the tricycle thing in the hotel and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think that's really cool from a filmmaker standpoint. I do a lot of more actual filmmaking stuff along with film critics and stuff like. So I do. It's just kind of cool seeing, how he pioneered some of those techniques. And 2001: Space Odyssey, awesome movie. I've seen it once, but it is so good. It's a great watch.
It's an experience.
It is, and
So
I saw that you
trippy.
watched it pretty recently, right? Yeah, it looks really great, and I saw it a while back, and it was fun. It's a really really good movie. So he
It's
definitely
such a good movie.
yeah.
And that came out in the late
It
50s.
did. I love
God,
seeing
it's
movies
incredible.
in the past that are talking about stuff that was supposed to be in the future, but is actually in the past for us now. Back to the Future, stuff like that. It's really interesting to see takes on what the future would look like, from a couple decades ago. And I think that will start. We'll have another wave of that in a few
Hopefully.
decades when movies that we make now that are set slightly in the future get outdated or whatever. And it's kind of a cool way to capture history, I feel like it's an interesting way. It kind of expresses what the concerns and stuff that's happening in the world at that point. It kind of shows their take on what could happen. And I think it's
Exactly,
really
and it's
cool
all
thing.
one cycle. Like the famous cut where the monkey is hitting, and then it cuts to
Oh,
some
yeah.
people think it's a nuke, or some people think it's a spaceship. It's all relevant. So
yeah,
he's
it's
a
great.
brilliant director. I haven't seen The Shining yet though, but
Yeah,
I
you
love
should.
2001.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. Coming at number 9 for me is Alfonso Cuarón. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He did the best-looking Harry Potter movie, Prisoner of Azkaban, and one of my new favorites, Children of Men, which is kind of a post-apocalyptic Last of Us kind of story, where point A to point B, this woman that we're carrying is the fate of the universe. It rests in her hand or in her baby. He's just everything about his movies is just so real. Prisoner of Azkaban, I mean, that's an artsy film, and it's also a fun Harry Potter film. Children of Men, it's scary. I watched it with my friend, and it looked like they filmed an actual war. The extras give top-notch performances. Everything about his movies are honestly, just for lack of a better word, masterpieces.
Oh yeah,
They're amazing.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of those, but no, the Harry Potter is great, and it sounds pretty cool, and yeah, I like it. I haven't seen those two you mentioned at the end there, but it's it sounds pretty good. I think any kind of director that tackles stuff that's a little bit more, either fantasy or sort of stuff based in the future, post-apocalyptic stuff. I think you have to have a great imagination for that. I think you have to kind of have a specific vision, and I think a lot of these people, especially on my list, I have some people who are tackling things, Star Wars, Marvel, stuff like that. Obviously, the stuff we talk about here on the channel, but it's
Exactly.
it's stuff that you have to have a certain mindset to be willing to play around and try new things and just I don't know, you have to kind of have a certain mindset about you. So very cool. Let's see. Number 8 for me is Alfred Hitchcock. He makes some very very great films, great classic films. A lot of people would say they're cheesy, but they are. But no, they're great, and I think they definitely.
But in a good way.
Yeah, Rear Window and I'm blanking on birds and all of the. He makes a lot of classic ones, and I really got into those. My dad got me into those, and I think watching again, it's you're seeing techniques and stuff used that kind of have carried on. You have his iconic dolly zoom and stuff there's a lot of shots that he kind of pioneered that are used today. The dolly zoom, if anyone listening is not familiar, it's just when the camera tracks into an object while zooming out, and it kind of creates that trippy kind of effect. You'll know it when you see it, and it's again, I think some of those kind of older, more classical directors kind of really shaped films as we see them today. And for me, at least, it's really cool watching these movies of these older directors and kind of just seeing hey, Alfred Hitchcock's The Rope was such a good example of leading up to what 1917 was. It kind of, it's it wasn't maybe perfect back then, but then it leads up, it influences all these other movies that, kind of take pieces from these older movies, and I think that's really fascinating. So overall, just great director. I think he made some pretty great stuff. So yeah.
I'm not sure if you've seen Vertigo. Currently,
Yes.
it's beat Citizen Kane as the best movie of all time.
Really?
I don't think it's that. I mean, it's good, not that good in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I do love Psycho a lot more than Vertigo.
Psycho's great.
Psycho's amazing, and we're talking about stuff he pioneered. Having the spoiler for Psycho in case you haven't seen it, having the main lead, and if you haven't, you really, really should. Having the apparent main lead die, and then switching it up, having three, because that guy that's also there, having three main protagonists, and then that twist at the end is amazing.
Right. I think Psycho, at least my opinion, is definitely in its time. It was one of the best movies with such a great twist in the end. It had a really, really great twist, and I think, I don't know, it's like it's like it kind of set the standards, set the stage for all these great movies to come. And I think all in all it was pretty great. So yeah.
Definitely. Coming in at number 8 for me is an upcoming director, Greta Gerwig. She has made two great coming-of-age movies, Lady Bird and Little Women. Lady Bird is a great original story, basic but heartwarming, and it's really a story about a daughter and her mother and just how that can be crazy stressful at some times, especially when, she wants to be an artist, she wants to move to New York, and she's stuck in, Sacramento. It's a great story. It's a very real story. It's very personal. And Little Women is a beautiful timepiece. It's so cozy, at the same time tragic. Like, the way she handles tones and the way she handles time is incredible. And with Little Women, it's tricky sometimes. Like, she flashes back so much, and if you're not looking at like the clothes they're wearing or the slight difference in their makeup to indicate that they're younger, it's hard to keep track of. But on second viewing, it's really beautiful how she can play with time and the themes of kind of love. I guess that's the main themes in all her movies.
Right,
so she's a great director. I cannot wait to see what she does next.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I want to. It's on my list. I have so many things on my list, but no, it's yeah, I think a lot of directors can kind of find what clicks with them, what they, where they kind of stand in like the directing realm. And I think once you find that, and if you have like a movie that takes off, I think you can really, practice your art and create something great. So awesome. Number 7 is J.J. Abrams. A little bit higher on my list. Again, not to like. Anytime I do rankings, like when I put stuff higher, it's not even to say that I don't like it. It's just you have to rank them at some point, and I think there's just a couple more people on my list that I wanted to fit in. So yeah, I think that's the primary reason, and I think also like everyone on this list for me is definitely just up there as my favorite directors. Like, I ranked them for the purpose of the podcast, but if someone asks me who's my favorite director, it might vary day by day, like in conversation, just based on what I'm saying. But, I enjoy the newer Star Wars movies. The latest one, not the best. We talked about that. But Force Awakens is a great movie, and I enjoyed it. And I think I think he brought back Star Wars. He was able to, I don't know, I just think bringing back with Force Awakens definitely earns him a spot on my list. There is another a couple other Star Wars directors that I like a little bit more. We'll get to that, but it's he earns a spot up there, and yeah, he's a pretty good director. So
He is very good. I love. Let's see. What else has he done besides Force Awakens? He did Star Trek, which I did like. He makes some good Star Trek movies. He's really good with space. He just has fun in space, and I love that for a director. That's what if I ever got to get behind a camera. That's exactly what I would do. So J.J. Abrams is awesome. Coming in at number 7 for me is Robert Zemeckis. He's the director of the amazing Back to the Future trilogy. He also did Forrest Gump, which I have not seen in its entirety, but from what I've heard and from what I've seen, it's good as well. But Back to the Future, that's I think my second favorite trilogy after the original trilogy. The first one is there's little plot holes, very minor, but in some ways it's perfect. I think the second one is the most fun and the most iconic, like with all the references, the hoverboard, the sports almanac, however you say that. And then the third one, it's definitely my least favorite out of the 3, but it's still an amazing adventure. So he knows how to just make a fun, heartwarming movie.
Definitely. Yeah, very cool. Back to the Future is great. I like those movies. Again, like I haven't seen them as much as I've seen like Marvel and Star Wars stuff, but they're I have watched them and I do enjoy them. I think again I really like how it portrays kind of future, like not totally futuristic stuff, because it's obviously not Star Wars. It's not like way futuristic, but it's like it talks about this kind of technology and like time travel stuff that like it's like just that kind of classic fantasy kind of vibe to like I don't know, it's just a great theme, and I think he tackled those movies very well. I think they turned out great, and yeah, very, very good watches, and a very good director to be behind the camera on a trilogy like that. So, yeah. Awesome. Let's see. We're at number 6. Number 6 for me is Rian Johnson. Last Jedi has quickly become one of my favorite movies, courtesy of David there. But yeah, no, it's a good movie, and I've kind of, we've talked a lot about the newer Star Wars movies a lot recently on our channels, on the podcast, and I think I've come to appreciate the movie more. For a while I was kind of just with the masses saying I didn't like it, even though I didn't really know why I didn't like it. But after watching it again, it's it's a good movie, and I think it I think it was just a really great film, and he directed, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, he did Knives Out, right? Is that him too?
Yes, he did.
Cool. You were frozen again for a second, but I heard you. Awesome. No, yeah, Knives Out. I was like 88% sure, but I want to sound like completely insane when I said that on the podcast. But I'm about 3/4 of the way done with that movie. My whole family fell asleep while watching it, so we have to not because it was a bad movie, but because it was like 3 a.m. and we started watching a movie at some insane hour. But it was it's such a good movie. I don't know why I haven't seen it sooner, and I don't know. It was so much fun, and I'm really excited to break that down a little bit more in a video one of these days. But no, yeah, I think he makes some great films. Those two are like the main ones I had to talk about of his, but Knives Out was great. I think it was, it had me the whole time. Like I was just, enjoying it the whole time. I'm really excited to figure out what happens in the film, so we'll check back on that, but it's no, it's great, and I think I think Last Jedi is a really great Star Wars film as well, in terms of the newer ones. So yeah,
my work here is done. Coming in number 6 for me is there's been a debate about can you appreciate art and not like the artist, and this is the case for this one. John Lasseter, he got hit with the Me Too scandal back in 2018, but he still made my favorite childhood movie, that being the Toy Story movies. He also did Cars and Cars 2, which we don't talk about. I actually like Cars 2. I don't know why people don't like it. I just haven't seen it in a while. So I'm sure if I watched it, I would know. He also did A Bug's Life, but Toy Story. That was my childhood. It was Star Wars and Toy Story. He made me want to be creative. Like his movies, his story, it was just so much fun. And I, got my toys. I made the stop motions. I did voiceovers, everything. I did director interviews. I pretended I was the director and being interviewed. So his movies really just mean so much to me. Toy Story is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. No, Toy Story is great. I think, again, there's a whole, if you don't like the artist, can you appreciate the art? And I mean, I think you can. I think especially with film, there is so much stuff happening behind the scenes. I mean, there's the director, but there's also, I've researched a ton. I've done a lot of, film, just film appreciation, learned about, different roles behind the scenes in film, and there's a lot of people involved there. So you don't need to like the director. You can still like the creative team, because it's really extensive. So especially with animated stuff, there's a ton of stuff there.
There's so many people.
Oh yeah, and I really appreciate any big film. I think it's the amount of work that every single person put into a production like that is incredible, and I think it's it's just a really, really great thing. So yeah. Number 5 for me is the Russo brothers. Huge part of the MCU. They're incredible. They make some awesome stuff, and I don't know. Again, huge Marvel fan right here, and I think the Marvel movies that they've done, they're just so good. We've talked a ton about a bunch of different Marvel movies in different episodes here, and I just think, I don't know, I think they're meant for that. They're very well fit for doing, action stuff, superhero, because I think there's a fine line. When you're directing a superhero thing, you want to make it still, believable. You don't want to make it, cheesy, unless you're going for that. I think, Into the Spider-Verse, that was very, it was animated and it felt like a comic book. But, if you're making a live action, I just think, you have to have that realism so that the superpowers and the evil villains and all that stuff becomes believable. And I think they did just that. I think all their movies feel real, and I think, they're superhero movies, but they still feel just as quality and just as much of a storyline and as real as any other movie. And I think yeah, I don't know. I think their movies are great. So yeah, there you go. That's my 2 cents. But yeah,
Yes, and also number 5 for me is the Russo brothers. Same thing that
awesome.
you said. They can take a superhero movie but make it feel real. And even with like a purple alien, it still feels real in a strange way.
Yeah,
With Endgame making it 3 hours long and having the first
love
hour
it.
just be for watching the Avengers be sad. That's cool, and they can make it human, real. Let's see. I think my favorite is definitely Endgame out of the ones they made. Civil
Mhm.
War, balancing all those
Civil
characters,
War's great. Yeah.
incredible. Uh, they have not made a bad Marvel movie. I'm not
No.
sure if
Yeah.
there are other work. Sorry, we're just Marvel fans.
Oh yeah,
But
no, that was like, I picked a lot of my directors based on like some of my favorite movies, and I'm like, oh, they do other stuff too. But
says?
yeah, no, but they're great, and
Exactly.
I think Endgame again. I love the long format. I really want more movies to be like that because it was just it was so good, and it allowed them to be creative and make a movie they wanted to make without constraints. Because I think like TV shows, the whole 20-minute format, 45 minutes for longer shows, it's like there's so much deleted stuff, so many things that like
Oh yeah.
the artists want to create but they're not able to, and I think kind of breaking down that barrier a little bit allows you to make something a lot better, especially for the fans. So
Exactly.
yeah, definitely. Number 4 is Jon Favreau. He's did The Mandalorian. But I've been kind of following some of his work a little bit before that as well. He's great. He's pretty cool. I like one of his movies that he was actually in, Chef. I don't know if you've seen it. It was
No.
a 20. I'm probably gonna. I think it was 2015 maybe, so it was a little older, not that long ago though, and it was a good movie. It's about this chef who gets kind of roped into a Twitter war with food critics, and he's tweeting at these different people about stuff.
Oh.
So it's an interesting thing, and yeah, it was a good movie, and I think his work. I've been watching a lot of the Mandalorian documentary on Disney Plus, and it's really interesting seeing
Yeah.
the whole team of directors they had, and no, all of them I think definitely deserve a spot on my list. I don't have enough room for all of them, but I think the Mandalorian was a really good show, and I think it was something definitely different. Both the way they shot it, the concept, everything was a little bit different, and I think it's really cool to see some kind of new blood going into the Star Wars area and kind of
Oh yeah.
this whole new generation of Star Wars stuff arising, and it's so exciting because like there was a point when people did not know the future of Star Wars. People, kind of were like, well, maybe that's it. And then, Disney got their hands on it. Disney did what Disney does. And it was good. And I think I'm just excited for future stuff. And yeah, all in all, I think he definitely has a spot on my list there. So, yeah.
Awesome. He is great. I hope he gets to do more projects. If he doesn't, that'll be a shame. But he has Mandalorian, even though he's not like he did one episode, right?
Yeah. I think like
Okay.
everyone in that group did like 1 or 2 episodes. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one he did, but I'm sure it was great because
Yeah, I can't remember either.
He
but
seems
yeah.
so likable as well.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I think everyone, like, just listening to them talk, it just seems like a really powerful group of like creatives behind that project, and I think that's
Exactly.
partially why it turned out so well. I think it was just that
Oh, yeah.
great team because
They care. They really care.
yeah, and it was such a small cast too. Like it was definitely driven by the actors, but I think it was driven by the creative team who had such a good vision, and it just seemed like
Oh, yeah.
they were really passionate over what they did, and it was really cool to see people who like grew up with Star Wars finally like build a career around that, and that's
Exactly.
so
It's
exciting.
it's emotional. Just like they're so
Yeah.
passionate about it. It's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Coming up on the same note as Star Wars, number 4 for me is Ryan Johnson.
Nice.
Like you said, his films are so unique. Like Last Jedi, I got you to like that. It took me a while to fully love it as much as I do, but now I do, and it's my 3rd favorite Star Wars film. They're so unique. They have a very kind of like Tarantino. I think Tarantino writes a little better, but he has a very fun way of writing dialogue. His movies are fun and unexpected. Not going to spoil Knives Out, but it's just such a fun movie. Have you got to the donut scene yet?
I don't
Has
think
Daniel
so.
Craig mentioned donuts yet?
I don't think so. He
Okay,
might have,
when
and
you
I
get
might
there,
have been
you'll know exactly
sleeping.
what I'm talking
But
about.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think you have. That's kind of later in the movie.
Okay.
That's just like he is just so fun and creative. I have not seen Brick yet, or what's the other one? Brothers Bloom. I have not seen those 2 yet, and Looper. So I've seen 2 out of 5. But still, he is incredible, and he just has that style that you just comes from Ryan Johnson, and I love it.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Awesome. My number 3 is George Lucas. Under my notes, I just wrote Star Wars. So that's. I just think, I mean, without him, there's no Star Wars, and it's like, say what you want about like the prequels and all that stuff, but like it's, again, he made the thing that basically got us to start making this YouTube channel. He started so many different things, and I think he was behind all of that, and he is an absolute legend. So that's all I really have to say. But
that's all you have to say. Yeah.
There's so much credit to that. Like, I don't have a ton to say, but it's like what I am saying. It's like literally I feel like a lot of people owe a lot to him, and I think it's great. He created a really, really great thing. So.
Okay, I kind of heard what you were saying. How people owe a lot to him.
Yeah. That's
which I agree
much
with.
it.
Of course, I owe everything to that man. He has changed my life. When it comes to influential people in my life, it's like my parents, my immediate family, and then probably like top 7, George Lucas is right there. He's changed my life. He really has, and he has done it for millions. So I'll talk more about him in a second. But number 3 is Damien Chazelle. He made 2 of my favorite movies, La La Land and Hamilton. David from the future here. I said he directed Hamilton. Nope, I meant to say he directed Whiplash. And he cares about music the way I care about music, and that's with some kind of story. Music is fun, but I don't really care about music like top 100 Billboard. I couldn't care less. When music has a story, or it's a part of something, or it kind of connects to with Whiplash and Vision, it's so much. It's special. That's why I like Hamilton, because they use the power of music to tell a story, and that's what he does. La La Land is a lot more musical, like singing with exposition and stuff, but that's why I like Whiplash just a little bit more, because it shows how music can affect somebody and make them just want to get do the best they possibly can.
Perfectly said. I think it's great. As for me, like, I do a ton of acting. I've been acting in theater and stuff since I was like 8 years old. And musicals, while I prefer acting in straight plays, just like dramas and stuff, I think musicals are a huge part, just for me, like in my acting career. And I think it's so cool. I love music either way. I'm pretty into lots of music, but like, when you look at musicals, I feel like they totally outshine just normal music, because like you said, they tell a story. They have they have a purpose, and it's like, I don't know, I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack for like 8 hours the other day, and it's great. I don't know, I just think it tells a story. You get you can have I don't know, it's just, you can kind of learn different things about people. It's not like these basic kind of songs that you hear on the radio that are all kind of essentially about the same stuff, or just very like just funny words that sound good put together. It's like you're creating a story, you're creating emotional good stuff, and it's really interesting to see stuff like that. And I don't know how much you are into musicals, but I would love to do like a musical or play ranking. That'd be pretty cool.
I probably wouldn't be good for that, because it would be number 1 Hamilton, and then the other one. I don't know musicals.
Yeah, no, I don't know them as much as I should, but I think there are some that I like, and it's really cool. I think musicals are they're a huge part of our culture. I feel like a lot of times they get kind of pushed to the side since they're not as prevalent in film, and I think they're more like on stage stuff. But maybe, hopefully, I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but maybe more stuff will start coming out digitally, because of all the Corona stuff. So we might have more
I would love to see musicals filmed like Hamilton, because that was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's great. And I think what they did with Hamilton was really, really interesting. I think bringing that staged film to anyone, like a much wider audience is really interesting. Fun story, that Hamilton cast recording, we had a leaked version, I think, of the exact same one they had of the professional cast recording from 2016 that we found somewhere on the internet. It was taken down within like 30 minutes, but I have to compare it exactly. But we downloaded it years ago, never watched it, but my dad still has it on his computer. I'm going to compare it, and I think it might be the same thing. So
that would be awesome.
We'll have to touch base on that in the next episode. But that's my little bit there. But yeah, awesome. All right.
Let's see. Is it your? Yeah, go ahead. Go
We
for
talked
it.
for a while. Okay, yeah, okay, it's my turn. Awesome. Number 2 for me is Greg Daniels. He was the creator of the wonderful, amazing, great show that we call The Office. He's really cool, and I think he does more creative stuff. He produces stuff. He's the creator of The Office, creator of Parks and Rec, like stuff like that. But he directed a good handful of episodes, and he's a really great guy. I think I've been listening a lot to the Office Ladies podcast. That the two Angela Kinsey and Jenna Fisher do from The Office, and they talk a lot about their creative experience on there. And being an actor myself, he sounds literally like the dream director to work with. He would take your ideas into consideration.
Nice.
He just seemed very up to collaborating with his creative team. And I've worked I haven't done a lot of film stuff. I've done an extra work on some shows, but like I've done mainly plays, and working with directors. I definitely have favorite directors, and I definitely have directors who I'm not as much of a fan of, and I think it's just all about clicking with your cast and your creative team. And I think Greg Daniels, wherever he was, he created something. He just knew what he was doing. He did something. He took a risk with The Office. It was the first kind of like mockumentary kind of style sitcom like that. And since then, we've had a lot of other shows like that. We obviously have Parks and Rec, but then there was also like Modern Family, and there's like all these different shows that have that kind of like interview style to them. And it's really, really cool. He kind of really started off that style, which I'm a huge fan of. So, from a TV standpoint, I think that's one of my main TV directors that on there. But yeah, it's pretty cool guy. So yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. Like you're right. He really like made that style popular. And don't forget the masterpiece that is High School Musical, the musical, the series, because that also stole that style.
Yes.
God, that show, it's weird. Anyways, that's not The Office. The Office is amazing.
Yeah, The Office is great.
So let's see. My number 2 is George Lucas. And the only reason he's not number 1 is because I look at him more as a storyteller when it comes to directing. I think his best directed one is A New Hope. That's like a masterclass in directing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was on a pretty tight budget. Everybody was making fun of him. I think he almost had like a heart attack because no one was believing on him. He was under enormous stress. So I think that is his best directing achievement. The prequels, while I love them and I love Revenge of the Sith, I think from a directing standpoint, it's lots of still camera, cut to this person, wide shot. So from that standpoint, that's why he's not number 1. But from a story standpoint, once again, like you said, I owe him the biggest of things. Like, my life and countless. So
I think
that's why he's number 2.
Yeah, I think there were obviously things that like he didn't do amazing with his movies. Like, I mean, the prequels are like definitely not the best, but I think, again, I mean, it's you can't complain when he's making a he made an entire franchise, and I think he did more than just direct the movies. He created a community. He created movies. He was kind of the spark for this thing that now is gone down generations and people are still sharing today. And I think it's just something that's like, it goes far beyond directing. And I think directing a few movies, not the best, definitely shouldn't undermine you as a person or as a creative or a director. And I think so he definitely is on both of our lists. So yeah.
Yes.
Awesome, very cool.
So we have the same number 1.
We
but
do.
Go for it.
My number 1, big drum roll, Nolan, Christopher Nolan. He is absolutely amazing. I talk about him every chance I get. So let's settle in and break this down. He I kind of first found his work from Inception, and huge favorite movie. It's my second favorite movie, and it's such a good movie. There's so many layers to it. I was watching a video today about all the different theories, and I was just kind of breaking it down more, and I feel like everything he does is just, it stands so far apart from the competition. It's like it just stands out to me so much, and I feel like I'm very excited for Tenet. I feel like that's going to be absolutely amazing, and I think, I don't know, Inception was great. I haven't seen all of his movies. I have not seen The Dark Knight yet. I have not seen that. I gotta get back into it. I have to do it one of these days. But yeah, it's that's what I have to say. And I just think I think to tell a story, with Inception, it's like that whole dreamlike kind of thing, but he did not make it feel all cheesy and weird like a dream. It's very psychological. It makes you think. He's a director that makes you really think about things, and that's really what I like about it. I think he just has a different perspective on things, and I think he can create movies that are just really fascinating to watch. So yeah.
Exactly. And he's my favorite as well. And I think the best way to describe him, I'm not sure if the person who said this was meaning it as a compliment or an insult, but he said he is the best intellectual pop culture director. And he is. Like, he makes fun movies, but they also make you think.
Oh yeah.
So even if it was an insult, I, I think that's a very good way to describe him, because they're fun movies, but think. I know you haven't seen The Dark Knight, but the Joker, some of the stuff he says, it makes you think.
Yes.
And then let's see. We talked about Inception. That's incredible. And what I love about Inception is, it's an amazing spectacle with great theories, but at the core, it's a father-son story. That's
Yes.
awesome. Prestige is just wild, and I love the performances. I love the twist, which I won't spoil, of course. Memento is so
yeah.
simple on paper, but he spices up with, the reverse storytelling. Batman Begins is just a fun origin story. Dark Knight Rises, it's a Batman story, but also tackles, like, class issues. Let's see, we got Interstellar, which I'm not a massive fan of, but I still think is a really cool movie. David from the future here again. So I rewatched Interstellar, and it might be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah, I really underestimated it. It's amazing. So just wanted to say that I'm a much bigger fan of that movie than I was when we recorded this episode. And unfortunately, I have not seen Following Insomnia or Dunkirk yet, but he makes amazing movies.
Yeah.
And whenever you hear like Nolan's new movie, it's like an event. Like Tenet is going to be so massive.
It's gonna be great.
He's awesome.
I think, I just think, like, having that, no, like what you said, I think that perfectly sums it up. It's like, he creates pop culture movies. They're movies that, it's very action-packed. It feels like, just these kind of fun movies, but they make you think so much. They make you really, it has so many layers. I think it's not a shallow movie. It has a lot of layers to it, and I think, I don't know, I just definitely think his movies outshine a lot of the competition I've seen. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we made it to number 1, y'all. That was exciting. It's been great ranking these. I had a lot of fun. So let us know what we should rank next. We always like ranking stuff. We just like talking about stuff. So drop us a message anywhere. We're at the David and Aidan Show on Instagram. You can type something into our YouTube comments, the David and Aidan Show on YouTube, and our Discord link will be in the description. We've done a lot with that. I'm excited for Discord. Discord's fun. It's made a resurgence, and yeah, it's great just to talk to people, like open up conversations and talk about things we all enjoy. Because I think it's awesome finding communities of other nerds and pop culture and film enthusiasts. It's great. So I love it. But yeah. Awesome. All right, that pretty much concludes the podcast for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Like I said, definitely give us any ideas you have for the podcast in our description, or send us a message on Instagram, or however you want to contact us. You can probably find us somewhere. If you want to see more of my face, you can find me on my YouTube at Aidan Films, on Instagram at _it's_Aidan, Twitter, Aidan_films, Letterboxed, Aidan_films, and TikTok, which who knows if it's still going to be out by the time we're doing this podcast, but Aidan Films on TikTok. Also, you can find me on Byte, the Vine replacement that might be popular, it might not be. You can find me on there at Aidan Films. So there you go. Those are my socials. The list might be getting shorter. So no, yeah, I am everywhere. I don't make stuff everywhere, but I am everywhere. So I'm always watching everyone. But yeah, I am on YouTube, basically Star Wars. I make Star Wars and movie and Marvel stuff there. Yes. On Letterboxd, this is weird. I wish I could change it. But it's LAWL3R, all caps. I'm so sorry for that. And then Twitter, which I'm very active on. Thank you for one of my 800 followers, which is crazy. Yeah. That is David Lawler YT. Awesome. Yeah, Twitter. I'm getting the hang of it. It's so weird, but I'm getting the hang of it. It's nice. Fun. So awesome. Check us out, guys. Those are our socials. We both collectively make a lot of stuff. I think in the past couple of months, we've made a lot of other pop culture, YouTube, and social media friends, and there's a lot of people out there in this community, so give them some support too. Like I said, if you click the link for our Discord server, lots of people to network with, and it would be great if you're listening to this podcast and you're just as into these topics as we are. It's always amazing to start conversations. I love creating conversations with people who have the same interests. It's really, really fun. Once again, thank you so much for watching this entire podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.